Hi everyone, I am Esther McMorris from 9 Feet Tall. I'm really pleased to be joined today by Jeremy Bailes from Diageo, and today we're going to talk about Portfolio Management Office.
The first thing that I would reference from my past anyway is the relevance of the PMO to what the business is trying to do. So I think we've always got to remain relevant, and it's not process for process sake. So identify what's needed by the business. If it's too many projects, too little time, or too little resource, then this prioritization thing is key. It might be about a process to follow to execute projects that's controllable, monitorable, and you can apply assurance to. It might be about robust business cases or managing risk. So there's all sorts of things that will define relevance, and then focusing on those and doing so in a way that adds value to the business, I think, is the first thing. I'd also say one of the issues I've had and experienced, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that, is adoption. So adoption of whatever processes we come up with. I think somehow, somewhere, processes are considered optional. It's everybody's responsibility to adopt process, to manage their own data, but as soon as you don't have that, or when you don't have that, then things become really problematic. You've got incomplete information, decision making is therefore flawed, and so on. So adoption is key, and I think that means that we have to really focus on not just process adherence and push this button, do this thing, but explaining why people need to do things, so that you've got a bit of carrot and stick. They understand the implication of involving themselves in the process and following it. And I think probably the third thing I'd say is complexity. What's the phrase? Perfect is the enemy of the good, or something. So we can see a route through to answering many points around the portfolio, but having shiny processes for their own sake is not a reason for doing them. It's really about the output, and we have to get this balance with simplicity and making sure that the processes are fit for purpose in that respect.
Yeah, I think it just reminded me, I think you and I have talked before about just enough governance. So it's providing that layer of governance that's light enough, that give you transparency and oversight and control, but without grinding the machine to a halt. And I think there's something in that. And we always say processes should work for the people and not the other way around, but it's tricky to get that balance right.
Yeah, I think it is, and in Diageo, we're very aware that some of our processes are not like that, and people do feel that they're investing too much of their time to drive the processes, which is why we continue to make improvements. Yeah.
I guess there's also the balance on the size of the risk and the size of the project. So if you have a high risk or compliance project that has to go right, or it's a multi-million pound investment, then that's different to a quick, agile, digital gadget that you might be developing. And therefore, do you adjust your governance according to that?
We do, and we're starting to make more inroads into that. So that sort of right sizing of governance, but actually other processes as well, is really important for people to engage with what you're trying to do. I think there will be no substitute for a high level of control, and with it process diligence and monitoring in really big initiatives, huge spend. So corporately, to assure the investment and to mitigate the risk that might present is really important. And so that everything has to be robust. The documentation has to be clear, the decision-making processes and the governance activities, those responsible, and so on.
Yeah.
But in a small project, which is low risk and low cost, we'd be driving to say, well, actually, if we're going to decide to do this, then we trust the people who are responsible for it. Tell us how you're getting on, and tell us when you're done. And how they do their job is up to them.
Perfect. Well, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you this afternoon, Jeremy.
Likewise.
So thank you for your time. Thank you for all of those that are listening, and hope you have a good rest of the week.